I got into a fight in my university's parking lot over sleeping with this girl's husband, but it was actually my sister they were looking for, and now they're begging me not to press charges even though they assaulted me for no reason. I have no idea where my idiot sister is because she went on vacation with her friends. All I know is that I'm going to pull her hair out when I see her. My sister and I go to the same university. Although we are only 3 years apart, we are almost identical and people always confuse us for twins. And today I suffered because of that resemblance we have because as soon as I left my university to go to my car, a lady threw herself on me to start dragging me by the hair while she was yelling at me a lot of things and insults. By pure instinct I also began to fight. Honestly, at that moment I thought that some homeless person had an attack of dementia or something. I pulled her by the hair until my friends separated her from me. The woman was crying and behind her there were 2 more women who were with her and arguing with my friends. The woman was yelling at me that I am her husband's slut and I didn't understand anything about what was happening, but at that moment my mind clicked because I know that my sister is dating with an older man. She doesn't tell me much about him but she shows me the gifts he gives her. I told the woman that she was looking for my sister. Basically the people who were with her yelled at me that I must be just as slutty as my sister. I'm not. I think, and tried to fight again but the police approached us and it was all too messy. Now my scalp is full of scratches, my back is scraped by the asphalt, and my hair hurts too much. And my sister doesn't answer my calls to explain what the hell she did before I tell my mother what happened. I know that if I tell my parents about this, they might even stop paying for my sister's education because it's not the first time she does something like this. I'm going to tell them? Yes, but first I need to talk with my sister. The humiliation of having been beaten up at my university for something I didn't do is too big. It gives me chills to think about coming back on Monday and that the people who saw us believe that I am to blame for that when my sister was the culprit. Poor woman, I do feel empathy for her but I didn't deserve that beating. My sister is not a good person at all, so it's easy to see her in a situation like this. At least she should have asked my name before that. Commenter: we don't know what the husband is telling his girlfriends. The wife and her thugs need to visit Mr. Wonderful. OP, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if my sister knows. She likes to be the mistress and it's something she says out loud and even my parents know. It's something she enjoys. She was the mistress of men close to me and my parents. So, she's walking a tightrope because last time a strong situation happened and my parents are tired of her behavior. Edit, yes, we ended up at the police station and I filed charges against her even though she apologized to me a lot once she calmed down a little bit. To be honest, her friends were worse than her in the sense of wanting to keep fighting when it was all over, but anyway, that doesn't justify that the fool hit the wrong person. For now I'm just going to wait for my sister to come back because I want to say everything with her present so that she can't run away from our parents. It's not the first time my sister has messed with a married man. For now, I'm just going to wait for my sister to come back because I want to say everything with her present so that she can't run away from our parents. As I mentioned, it's not the first time my sister has messed with a married man. Even if my sister tried to change the story, my parents wouldn't believe her. And for those trying to defend her, she's not a girl. She's a grown woman that keeps getting in trouble without having any consequences. I know my sister better than anyone. And yes, she's a home wrecker who enjoys being one. Update 1. Hi, my sister came back from her vacations a few days ago. I waited for her to come back because I didn't want her to run away from telling our parents what happened and I wanted her to be the one to tell them everything. My sister lives with our parents. No, she's not a teenager, she's almost 30. I don't know why someone in the comments said that she was suffering from grooming when she's 28. There's even plus 40 years old people in college, and anyways you need to be an adult to be there, so when she arrived I was already there. When my parents asked me what the hell happened to me I told them to wait for my sister to come to talk about it, so they already knew that this was about her. Many people don't understand that there are people who likes to be the second and enjoy feeling that they can sleep with anyone, even with a forbidden one, and my sister is that type of person. Since she was a teenager she flirted with her friends' boyfriends. She did it to measure her value with others, but she never flirted with any of my boyfriends. At least she has her limits. Now that she is older she likes to sleep with married men. For her it is better to receive gifts and fun without the pressure of being the wife. Her words: we discussed this many times. At the end of the day it's all in self-esteem and ego problem that my sister has. She needs to know that she can get whatever she wants. Anyway, a few days ago the cheating man had sent a message to my sister telling her that his wife beat him and kicked him out of the house after she found out about his affair with my sister. The woman found my sister's IG and sent her messages telling her to stay away from her family because apparently the man took their kids to some of the dates with my sister, and my sister, who is a big idiot, Followed the fight with the woman insulting her. She showed me the chat and was clearly encouraging the woman to fight, calling her names, etc., and that's how I ended up getting beaten. According to my sister, she didn't believe that the woman was really going to hit her, but then I started to message her and she basically ignored me because didn't want to get that kind of stress and also because she knew she screwed up. Honestly, so many comments told me that my sister was not to blame for anything that I began to believe it. Until I saw the messages she sent to that woman almost begging for a beating and I stopped feeling any kind of empathy for her. She is not a good person and never was. I was furious but my mother was even more angry. It is not the first time that my family has been affected because of her sexual adventures. This time we did not lose money or friends, but I was physically attacked, which is worse. My sister justified herself by saying that she is single and has no responsibility for any marriage, but my mother told her that we all suffer because of her problematic behavior and that morally she's helping to ruin the lives of many because of her ego. It all ended with my sister throwing a tantrum like always and even blaming me for looking like her, but this time my father kicked her out of the house with her things. I found it a little sad that my own parents apologized to me for their adult daughter's behavior. In the end of the day, I feel sad to see my parents and other people because of her behavior. And about the woman, she contacted me the next day I got beaten and was really sorry. She said she would pay for any medical expenses, but I'm fine. She sounded much calmer without her friends and told me that she had never done anything like that, but she felt a very strong hatred for my sister and her ex because of how they talked about her with the children. Although she sounded really regretful, a large part of me wanted her to kick my sister's ass, but that's not going to happen. Even if that doesn't make me a good person, I would have liked to see that. I'm sorry for the boring update? But not much happened except that she didn't send me a message or anything like that. Anyways, I just pray that my parents still don't talk to her so I can see her as little as possible. Update 2, a year and 2 months later. Hi, I remember this account and was about to delete it, but I keep getting messages about my posts. So, before I delete this, I'm going to give one last update about what happened this year. Basically, my sister is pregnant. She has a new boyfriend. Do the math. So, she started talking to my parents again. They hadn't spoke to her for a few months until the pregnancy news. And well, she knew very well that our parents wouldn't leave her alone during that time. I hope she changes with time and that motherhood helps her improve. Although, I doubt it since she's treating our mother like a free maid. My mother now has to wash her clothes by hand and cook 24/7 for my dear sister who can't lift a finger. Our parents are older people with their own physical problems, but she doesn't understand that. I don't judge my parents. They're worried about the baby, and my sister is really good at manipulating people, especially our parents. My parents spent months distancing themselves from her. And now she found the best method to make them feel sorry for her. A baby. They know that she is not responsible. Her boyfriend is a normal boy, but he doesn't even have his own place, and right now they live with his parents, which worries my parents. I've heard that the boy's mother has been telling them she wants them to move out. I'm not going to be away from my parents, who I love, but all family gatherings with the two of them are at my house from now on. I definitely prefer to save myself the surprise visits she makes at their house. I think people with a troubled sibling but loving family will understand this dilemma. On a different note, I've become casual friends with the woman who hit me. I'm sorry, but I'm not woke enough to condemn a woman for hitting her idiot husband and his mistress, even though she hit me. I'm not sorry to disappoint the comments who wanted to see that woman in prison because if a man does it, he would go to prison. She's really kind and actually spent weeks apologizing to me. She also got her friends to apologize to me. So, in the end, I forgave her. I'm not going to hate her for being human, but I made her pay money for my damaged hair, and I did press charges. Anyways, actions have consequences for everyone. I feel like a lot of people in the comments live in a strange fantasy and give their opinions as if they don't know how the real world works. Many also reflected their own traumas, and I received messages calling me a bad sister, which doesn't bother me because maybe I am. I'm tired of trying to help a narcissist. I received messages like, she's a bad person. You should report her and get her imprisoned. Guys, that doesn't happen in the real world for a ghetto fight. There are men who kill their families, and the police do nothing. We're not close friends, but we've met up a few times. She hasn't divorced because of lack of money, but she's not with that man, and they don't live together. She's really kind. And to be honest, now that I know her, I'm going to continue justifying her reaction to hitting that man. He recorded stuff for my sister with his kids in the same room. I've heard the dirty audios he sent my sister with the kids' voices in the background. F him. I would have hit him worse. I don't know how much these audios help in the divorce, but I hope they are of good help to her. Exposing minors to this type of content should be punishable by jail. But the world is not fair. That woman's only mistake was hitting me and not my sister. But that's a frustration I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. Her children love her and I know that she's a good person. Honestly, I would have reacted in a worse way, which does not mean that it is ideal, but losing your mind is sometimes part of being human. I'd like to see my sister get what's coming to her someday, but the world isn't a fair place and she always comes out on top in the end. That's the messy update, but honestly, I just wanted to vent because yesterday I saw my sister treat my mother badly under the excuse of pregnancy hormones. The only thing that relieves me is knowing that my parents support me in my decision to meet at home or outside from now on. Anyway, I hope someone hits her one day. I remember that many people wondered what problem my sister caused in my family that cost us money. My father used to work as a security guard in a house. He earned good money until my sister in her 20s had an affair with my father's boss, a young guy who lived with his girlfriend. The girlfriend found out my father was fired because of her at the request of that boy's girlfriend. My father lost his job at a difficult time in our country. He received some money for the lawsuit he made after being fired, but it was still too little compared to what he earned working there. Money that did not last long since in times of political crisis, even electricity can be worth a third of a salary.